You've had a very interesting career.
Yes, well, when I left school, which was in Christchurch, I actually went to Auckland because my parents were living in Auckland then, and I went to Auckland University to study law. And I worked, as you did in those days, in a law office as a law clerk for virtually nothing, and was very pleased to do so. Did my degree and qualified in Auckland, and then went to Hamilton, where I was lucky enough to get a partnership in a law firm. And I practiced in Hamilton as a lawyer for about 15 years. Early on in my practice, I really specialised in what we used to call the blood and bone cases, the personal injury cases, acting for people who had been injured in industrial accidents and motor accidents and things like that. And then you might remember that a man called Woodhouse decided that there should be a no-fault liability called ACC. And as a result of the development of ACC, I had to turn my mind to doing something else. I had dabbled in environmental law, planning, resource management, and I took that up quite seriously then. So I turned away from that sort of litigation, the ACC litigation stuff, and became an environmental lawyer.
And that led you to your involvement with ECAN.
Yeah, yes, it did, but before that, it led to my appointment to the Environment Court as a judge. And I came back to Christchurch. I was posted back to Christchurch for that. So I've been back in the South Island ever since. And I did 22 years in the Environment Court as a judge. And I retired from that in 2000, and I came here to Lincoln University to teach. And I really enjoyed that. It was a quite different lifestyle from the one I'd had on the bench. And I came and taught here full-time for about 6 years in resource management and environmental law courses. And I was really about ready to retire at that stage completely. And the government asked me to become one of the Environment Canterbury Commissioners. And that's how I was appointed because of my background, I think, to that position. And so I've been there for the last 6 years, working as one of the 7 commissioners, administering Environment Canterbury.
That in itself would have been a challenge, because it was really a challenge right from the word go.
Yes, it was a big challenge. It was a challenge in a number of respects, not only in the regulatory area of plans and getting rules in place for environmental protection, but the organisation itself needed quite a lot of work to be done in getting it back together again. And fortunately, I think we were fortunate in fact, we had a very good staff, and still have a very good staff at Environment Canterbury in all areas, really. So they quickly realised what the commissioners were all about, and they got in behind us, and between us, I think we've got a pretty good functional regional council going now, and we've got our the planning part of it in place largely, with environmental protections for water quality and water quantity and biodiversity and all the other things that go with the natural resources area, really.
So where to as far as environment is concerned here in New Zealand?
Well, there are still lots of challenges. People still talk a lot about water as being the number one problem, environmental problem throughout the country. I don't necessarily share that view. I think in a large measure we know how to deal with the water problems now, both of quantity and quality. In large parts of New Zealand we really don't have any water shortage problems at all. But on the east coast of both islands we do, and we're dealing with that by going more to stored water rather than running the rivers down and that sort of thing. And I think we've got a pretty good handle on all of that now. The one big area for me for the future is Indigenous biodiversity. And we've lost an awful lot of that. And before we lose the lot, I think as a nation, we have to recognise that we simply can't go on destroying our Indigenous biodiversity, and it should become the most precious thing we've got.
You're talking about bushlands?
Yeah, I'm also talking about habitats of our native flora and fauna. I'm talking about our native fish and our vegetation. All those wonderful things that you see in some parts of the country that haven't been trampled over by human beings, but in other parts we're losing it. And I think that is a big challenge for New Zealand, to maintain that representative biodiversity that is typical of New Zealand, as distinct from anywhere else in the world.
And of course today is a very, very big day for you.
It's a very big day for me indeed, yes. I was just reflecting a little earlier on the fact that it's just over half a century since I qualified as a lawyer, and today I'm graduating from a second university, and I'm absolutely delighted to have been awarded this honorary doctorate. Today will live with me for the rest of my life.
But it's only really because of your dedication to the environment and the industry.
Yes, I suppose you could say that. And also, a lot of people have helped me along the way. And I think of them, I think of my wife and my family, and the people who have backed me and encouraged me. My former colleagues here at Lincoln, with whom I had a very good relationship while I was teaching here. They've all contributed to my success, if you like, and I don't forget them.